The tragic deaths of 2 local foster children and the arrest of their adoptive mother have raised some big questions about our state's child welfare system. This is a system meant to protect the most vulnerable children. And this week, a brand new WRAL documentary investigates the failures that allowed this to happen. And joining us now, WRAL documentary reporter Cristin Severance and anchor Chris Lovingood. Guys, thank you for joining me. Cristin, you produced this. And Chris, your reporting on these children was the focus, the murdered children was the focus for this. Why this specific case?
You know, I mean, there's so many layers to this story, you know, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about 2 people who were, investigators say, malnourished and starved to death, essentially. And we're talking about them saying this happened by the hands of their adoptive mother, Deven. And so essentially, after you hear all that, I thought, you know, this has to be a documentary because of that aspect of it, but also because of the foster care aspect of it. And so I pitched it to Cristin because I knew you would see what I saw, and you did. And we found out stuff that I didn't even anticipate.
Absolutely. You know, Michelle, we get a lot of pitches for documentaries. But with this, Chris had done so many stories, dozens of stories. And after every story, I just kept thinking, how could this have happened? You know, this deserves more. And so we produced this documentary. Here is a very short clip from the documentary, which premieres tomorrow night.
Deven, hold on, is the other for the emergency?
Right now I'm feeling very suicidal.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 15. Hurry, please.
An investigation that began with the call for help.
As detectives began to unravel the facts,
they found 2 adopted children. Blake and London Deven had been missing for years, but no one reported it until now.
A person at that home told officers that Blake Deven had not been seen in 5 years, 5 whole years.
So your 17-year-old son is missing?
Yeah.
What was he last seen wearing?
I don't even know, man. He told me he was going to a Buddhist retreat. I never called back.
5 kids adopted from 3 counties by the same woman.
5 children taken out of homes. Now you got 2 just completely disappeared.
Is anyone checking on these kids?
Well, no.
What went wrong? Did the state fail these kids?
I think that they're county failings.
And will lawmakers finally fix things?
Because somewhere these kids fell through the cracks.
It's broken.
Exceptionally broken.
It's just a small excerpt from it, but the documentary spends a lot of time on the foster care aspect of it, but also the problems with it. And the more we just kept digging and digging into it, there was more that we uncovered that surprised us than this.
Yeah, especially when you listen to these numbers. Okay, 11,000 kids or people 21 and under in the foster care system, 6,000 foster care homes. That's a lot of people. And when you learn that there's no central IT system across the state, that's pretty shocking. I mean, a social worker in one county can't log on and see a child's history in another county. This is a transient system. People move. I mean, in the documentary, Deven adopts 5 kids, 3 different counties. They move from Western North Carolina to Fayetteville. You can see how people fall through the cracks. It just really, in 2025, to have no system,
none,
just so surprising. And that's just one of the many issues we get into in the documentary.
Absolutely. And what do you hope happens after this documentary airs? What's the goal here?
I mean, essentially, we want change, right? I mean, all the things we just mentioned and more. I mean, essentially, there are some things that are already in the works, like the IT system that Cristin was just talking about. But we're talking about that not being completed until at least another, 3 years from now?
Right, 2028. I mean, 3 years, and that's if they even get it done. So we want change. We want people to be aware this is happening. We also get into legislation that was proposed last year that could have fixed a lot of things. It was blocked, and we'll explain why. We really hope people watch. It's tough, but it's so important.
It's so necessary.
Right.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you guys have put so much work into this. This is such important work. So thank you so much for everything that you guys have done.
Of course.
And we hope you can watch. It's Thursday at 7:30 on WRAL, or you can watch an extended version of the doc on WRALdoc.com. Ken.